Stepped backwards and left me out front. I know you did.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Open Mic Night live at the ZoomBarDC. We've got a great show for you tonight. So we've got Joseph Stegner, Dave Sherman, Anna Rose Osofsky, Megan Ukoh, Gantt Kushner, Tom Mann, Steve Woolwine, Bill Sherman, and more. So sit back, relax, put on your dancing shoes, and have a great time. And Bill Sherman's going to kick us off. So take it away, Bill.
Thank you, Marie-Louise. I'm gonna start out this evening with something that's completely out of character for me. I don't think anybody's gonna believe I'm doing this.
Opera?
It's a Talking Heads song. It's called "Don't Worry About the Government," and I have no idea why they called it "Don't Worry About the Government." It says "Don't Worry About Me." There's a little blurb about the government, but I'm doing this because of my new condominium, my new home, and a lot of the song makes sense for that. So that's why I'm going to do it. I see the clouds that move across the sky. I see the wind that moves the clouds away. It moves the clouds over by the building. I pick the building that I want to live in. I smell the pine trees and the beeches in the woods. I see the pine cones that fall by the highway. That's the highway that goes to the building. I pick the building that I want to live in. It's over there. It's over there. My building has every convenience. It's gonna make life easy for me. It's gonna be easy to get things done. I will relax along with my loved ones. Loved ones, loved ones, go to the building. I'll be working. Oh well. Loved ones, visit the building, take the highway park, and come up and see me. I'll be working, but if you come see me, I'll put down what I'm doing. My friends are important. Don't you worry about me, yeah. Don't you worry about me. I wouldn't worry about me. Don't you worry about me. I see the states across this big nation. I see the laws they make in Washington, D.C. I think of the ones I consider my favorites. I think of the people that are working for me. Some of our servants are just like my loved ones. They work so hard and they try to be strong. I'm a lucky guy to live in my building. They all need buildings to help them along. It's over there. It's over there. My building has every convenience. It's gonna make life easy for me. It's gonna be easy to get things done. I will relax along with my loved ones. Loved ones, loved ones, come to the building, take the highway park, and come up and see me. I'll be working, but if you come see me, I'll stop what I'm doing. My friends are important. Don't you worry about me. I wouldn't worry about me. I wouldn't worry about me. But don't you worry about me.
That was fun.
Bill, what a great song.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
fun.
you.
Well done.
Thank you. And then I'd like to do a little Bobby Blue Bland, a song that's been covered by everybody and their mother, but I'm going to cover it too. It's called "Further On Up the Road." on up the road. Somebody's gonna hurt you like you hurt me further on up that road. Somebody's gonna hurt you like you hurt me further on up that road. But just you wait and see. You'll be smiling, pretty baby. But pretty soon you'll be crying. You'll be smiling, pretty baby, but someday you'll be crying. Further on up that road, you'll find out I wasn't lying. So further on up the road, somebody's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up that road, somebody's gonna hurt you like you hurt me further on up that road. Just you wait and see. You got to reap just what you sow. That old saying is true. You got to reap just what you sow, honey. That old saying is true. 'Cause just like you mistreat someone, someone's gonna mistreat you. So further on up that road, somebody's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up that road, you'll be all alone and blue. And you'll want me to take you back, mama, but I'll have somebody new. So further on up that road, somebody's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up that road, somebody's gonna hurt you like you hurt me. Further on up that road, just you wait and see. Further on up that road, just you wait and see. Yeah, further on up that road, baby, just you wait and see.
Oh, what a great song.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Steve Woolwine, would you like to go next?
Sure, I can do it. I didn't do any sound check, but can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I'll just gonna keep going down my list. Sorry for the repeats for you other Zoom members. So
No apology necessary. We love your songs.
And you know, I mean, when I was a kid, I'd listen to the same album that if I liked it, I liked it. I'd listen to the same album over and over and over.
Heck, I've looped your songs over and over, so don't worry about it.
well, we'll do a couple of them here. And they say you gotta stay in your lane if you want to avoid the pain. You gotta learn to let it go. They say you gotta stay in your lane if you want to avoid the pain. You can't control everything. You gotta learn to let it go and never take a back road. But sometimes you gotta take that turn, a road you've never been on, a road you've never tried. You will never know what you can find if you never take that ride. And they say you gotta stay in your lane if you want to avoid the pain. You can't control everything. You gotta learn to let it go and never take a back road. And they say straight and narrow is the way, but sometimes you find your way full of broken-hearted switchbacks. Be sure to take a look back to see where you've been and start all over again. And they say you gotta stay in your lane if you want to avoid the pain. You can't control everything. You gotta learn to let it go and never take a back road. But sometimes you gotta take that side road to see where it goes, to clear your mind, to try to understand, so you can start all over again.
Yeah.
Such a good songwriter. Such a good songwriter.
Beautiful.
I started over from the beginning because I messed up.
Well, you know, if you didn't say anything, we wouldn't have known.
We wouldn't have known if you hadn't told us.
You're very good to me.
As far as I'm concerned, you didn't mess up. So
I said, I'm going to go back around. I don't think anybody's paying attention to that where I messed up. Oh, okay. Let's try another one here.
I'm listening closer to you then.
Ah,
And I thought I was, but
no. Are you taking your picture again? Are you having as much fun as it seems? Are you living the life you want to see, instead of living the moment to be? Do you stop to talk to an old friend? Does it feel like you were way back when? Or do you just trade your photos with them? Words are worth 1,000 pictures to me. They keep inventing new ways not to speak. Life goes on without saying again, and it needs to be said to them. Your photos look perfect to me. You stop short of the moment to see. Rather live in the moment to be. The feeling is lost again, you see. Like the lost feeling when you speak to an old friend. Words are worth 1,000 pictures to them. Does it feel like you were way back when? How would you know if you never speak to them? Your photos look perfect to me. You stop short of the moment to see. Rather live in the moment to be. The feeling is lost again, you see. Some words are worth 1,000 pictures to me. They keep inventing new ways not to speak. Life goes on without saying again. And sometimes it needs to be said to them. But sometimes that's all you can get.
Yeah.
Steve, it's such a pleasure to listen to you twice a week.
Love those lyrics. Wow.
Yes.
You know what it is, Steve. You paint pictures with your songs.
Thanks,
Is what you
Dave.
do.
Bill.
I mean, you tell
Everyone.
stories, but you paint pictures.
Right.
And I always say, sometimes I always ask you guys, it's like, I go through this and I was like, I don't think anybody else is getting what I'm thinking I'm doing. But you do.
I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah,
pretty clear. It's pretty
Yeah.
clear to me, at least.
I have a friend even who responded on YouTube to the video of that one song you did, who just said it was excellent, and that's how your songs are.
All the
So
way
yeah,
out
you
in-
speak what a lot of people do.
all
Feel.
the way out in the
Feel.
West Coast.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. for
Okay.
letting me know.
Anna Rose, do you want to go next?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll start with Some Greatest Showman. Anyone who's a fan? I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting for me, that I call my own. special things I compile, each one just to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. A million dreams, I think of what the world could be. A vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Woo! Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Very much.
Your piano was louder than your voice. I mean, when you were singing the higher stuff, I could hear you okay.
Right, yeah.
But when you're singing the lower notes, it's really hard to hear you.
And you have a lovely voice. Lovely.
So we want to hear you.
Yeah, right.
But piano player's really nice too. But it's just, we want to hear you sing.
I see Anna Rose's friend is here that I was talking to you about earlier. You were so good in that All of Me song, so adorable. And I tell you, you both should do a duet. And you would just be a sensational on screen, because really, you guys both. And that song, Anna, was just brilliant. So yeah, both of you together doing that, your charm, that'd be something to see. So think about it. Yes. Yes.
Can people still hear this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So next I'll do probably what I would think is Billy Joel's most beautiful song ever, but maybe that's disputed because it's hard to choose. But yeah.
There's some kind of distortion, Anna Rose.
Oh,
That's what it is.
Maybe if I make it a tiny bit louder.
No,
Softer.
It's more distorted.
It sounds like your chair is squeaking.
Oh yeah, we have a squeaky pedal. So I was hoping that wouldn't come through on Zoom, but I guess it is. Is it really loud?
It's very, yes. You're noticeable.
Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not so sure what to do about that. I just noticed it getting squeakier today. I don't know if I can not use pedal. Yeah.
Well, now we know what it is. It's just part of the rhythm now. So
okay. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. I realized I forgot to get the words up. I'm really sorry about that.
I got the impression of grandma sitting in a rocking chair listening to whatever you're playing. So that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing grandma's rocking chair and your music.
Okay, I'll just start from the verses. Sorry about that. Let's see. In every heart there is a room, a sanctuary safe and strong, to heal the wounds from lovers past, until a new one comes along. I spoke to you in
Kind
We
of
can't hear you at all. You can't hear your voice at all.
I'm really sorry. Let me
Don't worry about the pedal. We know it's there, but like I said, and the lyrics make it even more cool what I said actually, because it's just beautiful. So don't hold back because it's beautiful. You're doing beautiful.
is this better? Maybe this will,
Your voice is too quiet.
it's still too quiet.
Yeah. Go back to where it was before. I'd rather hear the pedal in your voice. I'd rather hear your voice and the pedal than no voice.
Okay.
That's that.
Okay.
There we go. Now we can hear your voice. Yeah.
Okay. Should I start from? I guess I'll start from the verse again.
Yeah.
Sorry. In every heart there is a room, a sanctuary safe and strong, to heal the wounds from lovers past, until a new one comes along. I spoke to you in cautious tones. You answered me with no pretense, and still I feel I said too much. My silence is my self-defense, and every time I've held a rose, it seems I only felt the thorns. And so it goes, and so it goes, and so will you soon, I suppose. But if my silence made you leave, then that would be my worst mistake. So I will share this room with you, and you can have this heart to break. And this is why my eyes are closed. It's just as well for all I've seen. And so it goes, and so it goes. And you're the only one who knows. So I would choose to be with you. That's if the choice were mine to make. But you can make decisions too. And you can have this heart to break. And so it goes, and so it goes, and you're the only one who
A beautiful song. I've never heard that before.
Beautiful. What was the name of that song?
That's And So It Goes by Billy Joel.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Excellent, excellent.
It's on the Storm Warning album, isn't it?
Sorry. I think so. I'm not sure. It's either that or River of Dreams.
That's a great song.
One of his best, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Tom, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm going to have to pull up a script here. I've been telling stories for some time, and I finally thought I should probably put them together into a book. And this is the first chapter that will act as an introduction to some of the stories I've written over the past years. I don't have a title for it yet, but I grew up in an asylum under the gaze of a monster. The monster's name was God. My grandmother was one of God's enforcers. When I was 4 or 5, like every other little boy that ever lived, I used to play with my little friend in my underpants. But if Grandma ever caught me, she would shriek and somehow make the connection that what I was doing was inflicting even more pain on Jesus, who was already suffering on the cross in all those pictures around our house. God ran the school system where I grew up. And at every level, from primary school through college, that school system was based on what I learned was called cognitive dissonance. That's the ability to hold opposite truths with equal conviction and not be aware of the disconnect. Maybe, dear reader, you were taught cog-dis too. It's certainly not unique to Catholicism. And although I live alone now in the desert, far from the madding crowd, I keep up with what's going on, and I see it's on the rise everywhere now. But I'll deal with that later. What did cognitive dissonance look like in St. Paul, Minnesota in the early 1950s? Well, in each class, we had a globe showing the world as round, and each country was a different color. Although some classrooms had old globes from 1930s that had different blocks of color with different names. The nuns taught us that the world was round, and they frequently referred to that as if it were a given. But then on Sunday Mass, the priest would recite the Nicene Creed, the core belief statement of Roman Catholic dogma, which describes the earth as a flat surface underneath the dome of heaven and above the bowl of hell. The nuns and priests seemed unable to get their story straight. Was earth round or flat? How was an 8-year-old supposed to navigate that if they couldn't? I asked a priest about that once, and he said it was a mystery of faith beyond our moral comprehension. I didn't know then that in any dispute between priests and nuns, the word nun reflected women's influence in the church. Well, once you completed primary school and demonstrated you could simultaneously hold that the earth was both flat and round, you were ready for high school. Catholic high school I went to, where they taught military training, or ROTC, was part of the core curriculum. So every day we were taught how to kill people, but only bad people who live far away. We were not allowed to kill local bad people like homosexuals or communists, but to keep an eye on them nevertheless. Later in the day, we took religion class where we were taught it's wrong to kill people, even bad people who live far away. Only later did I learn that we were taught these opposing truths in high school, because in the early 1960s, we were trained to be the first officer corps in the coming Vietnam War. All of the ROTC teachers were active Army. And in the spring of 1961, when I was a junior, it was announced that Sergeant so-and-so was being reassigned overseas and would soon be leaving our school. I caught up with him later that day and asked where he was going. Where was he reassigned? Vietnam, he said. I told him I'd heard of the country, although it was still called Indochina on the old maps in one classroom. So I wished him a safe travel and good luck over there in Vietnam. Well, he looked past me to all my classmates heading for the parking lot to start on the weekend, and he said something I'll never forget. I will see you all in Vietnam soon, he said. Well, now John Kennedy had only been in the White House for 2 months at that point, but this three-rocker non-com knew the plan. So I've wondered ever since, when did the generals and the policymakers and the arms merchants know? Or when did they write that script? Now, if you've proven yourself able to live on both a flat and round earth and kill and love your enemies, you're ready for college. But it turned out that a nun had advised us back in the mid-50s not to go to the University of Minnesota because at the time it was a hotbed of atheism and communism. So I went to a Catholic college. There was only one option for me, and that was the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, where my dad had gone years before and where my younger brother would go. But I didn't have the grades or the ambition to go away to college. In fact, I'd have been very happy if the script we all had to live by then didn't insist at college for everyone. Nevertheless, it was off to college Catholic I went. It was a small college then, and there were only 2 academic buildings. One was the science building, where science majors were taught the universe of mass and energy, according to Albert Einstein. Those of us majoring in the humanities in the liberal arts building were still taught the universe was described by Aristotle the pagan, later baptized and sanctified by Thomas Aquinas the saint, and that we lived in a universe still composed of substance and accident. So while we all had lunch in the same grill and parked in the same parking lot and cheered the same football team, we were taught and educated to live and work and have our being in 2 separate universes, disconnected. One of nature, one of grace. That tragic split is still there and it's still driving us crazy. And as someone who's spent a half a lifetime in each disconnected domain, nature and grace, I'm probably as qualified as anyone to address the issue. And that, dear reader, is the thesis of this book. More to come.
Yay, Tom! Great
That's all right.
introduction to your book. I love it. Yay.
I learned
Wow.
something too.
Where can I get the book?
Show me the money. I'll self-publish it probably pretty soon because I've got the rest of it. I spent 3 years trying to come up with an introduction.
Thanks, Tom. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, so hopefully you'll read the next chapter soon on the next Tuesday. Okay, Dave Sherman. Are you out there somewhere?
I am out here.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm visible, aren't I? Oh, there you go.
Yes, you sure are.
I'm there.
I'm such a good guy, I mute myself.
You're on, Dave. Sorry.
Okay, well, I learned this song last Thursday, about 10 minutes before we went on. And I kind of messed it up, so I'm going to try it again. But it's a Jesse Winchester tune called Isn't That So? Didn't he know what he was doing when he put eyes into my head? If he didn't want me watching women, he would have left my eyeballs dead. Isn't that so? Isn't that so? You gotta go where your heart says go. Isn't that so? Didn't he know what he was doing when he made the magic vine? His own son got a reputation for turning water into wine. Isn't that so? Isn't that so? You gotta go where your heart says go. Isn't that so? Line of least resistance, lead me on. 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 Didn't he know what he was doing when he divided high and low? You got to bury the seed in the dirt, my friend, if you want the thing to grow. Isn't that so? Isn't that so? You gotta go where your heart says go. Isn't that so? Isn't that so? Isn't that so? You gotta go where your heart says go. Isn't that so?
Let's mess it up this week. That was cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe next week I'll have my acoustic guitar. It's over at my friend's house. It lives 3 blocks away, and I just can't seem to keep going over there and getting it. I will. I swear I will. But anyway, this is one that I wrote, and this is one that Marie can get up and dance to. A little thing called "It's Just Not Me." My baby tried to make me something that I'm not. I tried my best to please her, but there's something she forgotten. But it's just not me. But it's just not me. But it's just not me to change because you want me to. Well, she tried to change my car. She tried to change my clothes. I said, look at here now, baby. All this change has got to go. But it's just not me. But it's just not me. But it's just not me to change because you want me to. Well, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put it back together for my baby again. But it's just not me. It's just not me. But it's just not me to change because you want me to. But it's just not me. 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 But it's just not me to change because you want me to. But it's just not me to change because you want me to. But it's just not me to change because you want me to. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Patrick. Are you out there somewhere? There he is. Patrick, you want to go next? Couldn't hear you. Say something. Can't hear you.
He will.
Oh, okay.
It might have something to do with the fact that he's got earbuds in, Patrick. You might have to go into the audio settings and make sure your microphone is the right one.
Patrick, next to the microphone, the Zoom microphone, there's a little arrow, and it has audio settings. We can't hear you, so trying to read lips over Zoom, kind of hard.
And what happens if I just used a Mac microphone? Something's wrong with my interface.
It works perfect.
You sound fine now.
Okay. How's the guitar sounding?
Great.
Well, Marie-Louise, thank you for this, Gantt. Thanks for telling me.
Welcome.
This first piece is called Gathered Hearts, just like we are here tonight.
That's a beautiful piece, Patrick. Did you write that, Patrick?
I did.
Beautiful piece.
Yep.
And I wrote this next one too one day. And I was thinking about my favorite person in the whole world who happens to be here tonight. And I'll tell you her own stories about growing up in Catholicism, but I won't go there. But this piece is called Passages. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Patrick.
Thank you,
Very nice.
Patrick.
Thank you for being here, Patrick. That's great stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Patrick, tell us a little bit about your guitar. I have
So it's a breed love.
Well,
It's a custom built for a friend of mine.
and your tuning, how you tune it. You tune it different.
It's tuned basically in fifths, starting in
Oh.
E down to G, and then it's coming up, and then it's a third on the top. So it's just C, D, D, A, E, G. And then I put partial capos and stuff on it and confuse myself in the way.
Oh, I see. I see. I see that. How interesting.
Thank you, Patrick. That was beautiful. Megan, you want to go next?
Sure.
Great.
Alrighty. So I had my acoustic today. Just having some issues with my other guitar.
I saw that earlier. Your acoustic. Cool.
Yeah. I don't really like playing acoustic that much, but I gotta do what I gotta do for now. But I'm learning some songs for it that I have. So I'm gonna just do them here in practice. So if I make mistakes, just ignore. All right. The first one is Under the Boardwalk. All right. Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof, and your shoes get so hot you wish your tired feet would fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk. From the park you hear the happy sound of the carousel. You can almost taste the hot dogs and french fries that they sell. Where I go? Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, on a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. under the boardwalk. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun under the boardwalk. We'll be falling in love under the boardwalk. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk. Sorry, I got confused with my writing.
I love that
There you go.
That's all right. I love that song. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Confuse myself.
We'll always bring
Beautiful
people to their feet.
All right, we'll try this one. All right, so this was I think everybody knows this one. Well, you might know this one. Yeah, it's called What a Wonderful World. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. All right, still got some practice to do.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're in the right place.
Thank
you.
Sound great.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Lovely
Beautiful.
guitar.
Thank you.
Hey, Joseph, you're next.
Megan, there's a story about that song that did well in Europe, but not in the US because the head of ABC Records hated it and wouldn't give any promotion in the States. Can you believe that? In 1967.
That's hard to believe. Wow. Crazy.
Very hard to believe.
Wow.
Okay, this next piece is in the spirit of Halloween. Since this is the last meeting before it, I like to entertain folk during it. This one's called Hungry Flies. This poem might disturb you, so consider very well If your heart is weak and you get scared when licked by flames of hell, if the graphic makes you nervous, I suggest you turn away, or every bug that lands on you might make your courage stray. For once upon a time not yet, a famine struck the land, and even healthy humans felt too drained to even stand. As it is in evolution, dire need makes creatures change as the spirals of their DNA for survival rearrange. This here is the story of a strong, tenacious fly that realized it would go extinct, waiting for its food to die. It developed teeth for burrowing, aided by salivary acid. It loved to land in ear canals and dig till its warm host was flaccid. This fly was a bit more slender than the ones that came before. This helped it to lay eggs by increasing ease of bore. This planet has seen creatures zip by just like our days as different organisms rise with more dominating ways. This tiny little burrower would land within the ear, and just before its barbed feet touched its wings, the host would hear. But trying to knock off the bug or squish it really fast was hard to do because it was fast too and hungered that its seed would last. As soon as it made contact, it spit and chewed soft tissue through. In just over an instant, one could squirm its way in you. Tent fabric was too delicate. Underwear, too loose and thin. And sometimes in their desperate state, they even ate right through the skin. Survival of the species long on top of life's food chain was threatened by this little bug that loved to eat the brain. Before a person's limbs fell limp by nerves not unattached, insanity would plague the mind as its control became detached. The fly would need not burrow deep before it laid its many eggs, and one could barely feel the cuts made by its clawing razor legs. It only took 2 hours before completion of their feast. Then through the eyes and nose and mouth, 500 more flies were released. Because of all the carnage, their appetites would leave behind. The surface of the earth became where ruling insects dined. The humans scrambled valiantly, responding to the threat, but the drought that made their bodies weak hindered how lucky they could get. The poor were thought expendable when triage had to rule, and the ones with less intelligence could not find safety in a school. War made organizing tough, though its wounds had long since passed. So the falling of the living was like a fire raging fast. Oh, this tiny, icky bug, so hungry to consume. The humans were like withered stems where a garden used to bloom. I cannot tell the ending because the records aren't complete, and it hasn't been revealed what destiny brought them to meet. But these hungry little insects who wanted nothing but more food struck like out of nowhere and dampened everybody's mood. The end. I wrote that on Mount Tamalpais, Panto Ranger Station, campsite 14.
Dampen my mood, I'll tell you that. Oh,
You
geez.
really get macabre sometimes.
Anyway, that was kind of a long one. Do I have time for a little short one? Do I have time?
Very short one.
Okay. I wrote this one. This is again from my Poetic Refreshment magazine. This is after I almost, a month after I almost jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge because I just didn't know how to be anything other than a poet trying to find the right words to save the world. It's called Pacifica by the Pier. Lord, I am so grateful. My joy is felt in tears. So blessed I've been with life itself the whole of all my years. From coast to coast through vast terrain of meadow, forests, shores, so many mountain vistas my memory adores. Here in this great country where I've been privileged to be free, so much love for all creation bubbles up in me. I want to write forever of all the good things that I've seen, from Connecticut to California and many states in between. A thankful man I truly am with a humble servant soul, to express my love for this great land and all upon it is my goal. That's it.
Yay, Joseph. Awesome.
Thank
More
you.
uplifting.
Thank you.
Much more uplifting.
If it wasn't Halloween, I would have picked something other than that first one, but
No, I think it was very appropriate for Halloween and a lot scarier than any of those grade B movies they make.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we've got us. Anna Rose's friend has some stories to tell.
Well, okay. So, okay, I can change my name back to Austin, but at this point, I feel like she sung so beautifully. I'd just rather be known as Anna Rose's friend. Okay, so I have two quick stories for you. They're both kind of restore your faith in humanity, funny stories that I think are kind of nice. So the first one was actually 2 years ago. My family, my brother lives in New York City in an apartment, and I go every now and again to visit him. And this time there was the same doorman Mitch, but also a new doorman Naphtali. And Naphtali, if you don't know, is a very biblical name. So when he said his name, I was kind of blown away because it's one of those niche names that, you know, are like, okay, this might have been popular 3 millennia ago, but does anyone really still have this name? So I had just traveled from a 6-hour bus ride. I was pretty tired. It was late at night. And so as I met him, he told me his name was Naphtali. I said, I could go upstairs, but I could also, if you want, we could go through the verses in the Old Testament together. And if you wanted to do that, it might be really fun. I don't know if you've ever done that before. So he said, sure, why not? So I opened up an app on my phone with the Old Testament, and or I would call it Tanakh. And I open up to, I bend down, or I kneel down because I'm just so tired. And I finally reached a place I reached the verses that have to do with his name. And I look up from my phone and both doormen are kneeling. And they're both kneeling because they thought that when I looked at verses in the Old Testament, because they were holy, they should also kneel. And kneeling was just something you did, but I was just tired. But it was so cool and nice to see these people who were so respectful of what they thought was a practice of mine. And it wasn't, but it was still so nice. And so I opened up to the verses and we read through the verses that had to deal with his name. And he said his name he had learned had to do with suffering. It was somebody who had come through suffering and bared it successfully. And he said as a kid, when his dad told him that, he had said, I really hated that name. He said that to his dad, and his dad, who was a pastor, said, you know, you shouldn't hate your name. Your mom, when she was pregnant with you, was going to call you David, but then said, I had a dream last night when she was late into her 9 months. I can't remember exactly which month, but she said, I had a dream. We have to call him Naphtali. And he said, on the playground, people used to make fun of me and I used to struggle, but my name really got me through it because I was able to bear the suffering. And I came through okay, and I affirm that because we had that nice conversation then. So all of that was just a really nice tale of, you know, as a religious person, you never really know when you're going to get to use your religious education because you don't want to really be too overbearing and inject it into people's lives because that's kind of invasive. So he was so open to learning the etymology and the history of his name, but he was also so respectful, and that other doorman was so respectful that they knelt down And when I looked up, I was just so taken aback. Yeah, the second story is a little funnier. I went to Japan with my brother and my mom when I was 16 or 17. And I didn't have a phone because the three of us were always together. And I didn't have any American money because my mom was holding on to it. And I didn't have any Japanese money because my brother was staying in Japan. And so I really needed to be anchored to them at all times. And so we're getting on the train on the last day of vacation, where we need to get on the Narita Express, which is the train to the Narita airport. And it's about an hour and a half. And you need to take a very special train. It's an express train that skips certain stops within the city and leaves the city as fast as possible. And our train was about 7:57. And so we're running to catch it 7:54 a.m. We're running to catch this train. And I'm ahead of my mom and my brother. And I get on the train and I realized that the train didn't skip any stops. It went to the next station, which meant I got on the wrong train. And so as a 16-year-old with no money and no phone and no idea how to speak Japanese, I was going to a station that was not on the way to the airport, on a train, not on the way to the airport. So I asked somebody just to make sure, was I headed in the right direction? And they said no. So they actually, realizing that I was lost, took me back in a train going back to the station, got on the right train with me and said, you should stay on this train for the next hour and a half and you'll be fine. So as I'm on this train, as I hear the story later from my brother and my mom's perspective, they're freaking out. And by they, I really just mean my mom, because my brother had to keep a straight face. And I asked my brother later, I said, did you think I was going to make it? And he said, no, I thought you were a goner. Because if you've ever seen the Tokyo train map, it's like a kindergartner who took 5 different colored crayons and went like this on a page. It's just, it's full. It is a full tram system. So my brother at this point is running up and down the correct train and going through all the different cars, and he can't find us. And because this is an hour and a half long train ride, I mean, it's just longer for my mom to sit with her thoughts. And so I hear later that she called my dad, who is back in Boston, and she said, hey, have you seen Austin? And he said, what do you mean, have I seen Austin? I'm not in Japan. And they said, oh, never mind. And they hung up. And my dad couldn't really do anything. So that's where the story kind of ends for him. But it was a nice little funny blip. And getting back to my part of the story, I'm finally on the correct train. I'm going in the right direction. But I'm not entirely sure, because there was a stranger who gave me directions, and maybe I misunderstood him. And so I looked out when we stopped at one of the stops along the way, and I see there's only one track and we're surrounded by rice fields. And I said to myself, look, if I got it right, I'll be there in an hour. But if I got it wrong, I got it really wrong, and it doesn't seem like there's a way back. So I end up making it to the airport, to the terminal. But the thing about the Japanese train system is that you need to tap your ticket at the beginning and tap it at the end. And I didn't have my ticket because I had given it to my mom after I tapped at the beginning. So I go up to a Japanese person at the terminal, praying that he spoke English. And I said to him, the one thing I do have is my boarding pass. So I showed him my boarding pass and I said, I don't have anything other than this, but I need to get to my flight. Can you help me? And he got somebody else who spoke English. And the second guy looked at my boarding pass and said, "Wow, your flight is soon. We gotta go." And I said, "Thank God someone understands the pressure that I'm currently under." So I'm running with this guy up to the airport, and I see a group of maybe 25 police officers in a circle. And I realize there's probably only one reason 25 police officers are in a circle. And so I see in the middle of the circle is my brother holding a picture and holding up my passport, basically. And he's in the middle of saying, "Oh, and he looks like him, he looks like him." And we reunited, and he gave me my passport. And, you know, the story has a happy ending. I got back, but I mean, all the different people who helped me on that, along the way, those 2 hours from hell were just a rush. But, you know, a nice story of what Japanese people will do for you if you're lost, but also what other human beings will do for you if you're lost. So yeah, those are just two fun stories.
Thanks
for sharing,
Thank you, Austin.
Yeah.
Beautiful storytelling. Thank you, Austin.
Great stories. Yes, thank you. Okay. Gantt, are you out there somewhere?
Somewhere.
There you are.
For the rainbow.
Gantt, our super closer, is up next. Yay, Gantt.
I'm not going to do that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do it with rainbow. All right, I'm going to do something I did once before, maybe a couple weeks ago. But this time I'm going to try to get it right. This is the Stephen Bennett song called Waltz to a Maple Tree.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm glad I captured the first time that you did that one. It got like 279 views as of now, and it went up so fast, and people were watching it so fast that YouTube like froze my reporting because they're saying, "Okay, all your rates are up 400%. We got to make sure everything's on the up and up."
Almost viral.
So you obviously have a lot of fans who just really hogged that one up real quick.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful.
What else am I going to do? Right, I made mistakes in different places that time. I'm going to try doing something that I've done a bunch of times differently. It's an old Buck Owens song, and I discovered it through the Beatles. Actually, I discovered country music because of the Beatles, because of this song, because I think Ringo sang it. But I'm not going to do it the way they did it. They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me. Make a film about a man who's sad and lonely. And all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, I'll bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can never tell. The movie's gonna make me a big star. I can play that part so well. So I hope you'll come and see me in the movies. Then I know that you will plainly see. Biggest fool who ever hit the big time. And all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, we'll make a scene about a man who's sad and lonely. He's begging down upon his bended knees. I'll play that part and I won't need rehearsing. And all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, I'll bet you I'm gonna be a big star. I might win an Oscar, you can never tell. Movie's gonna make me a big star, 'cause I can play the part so well. I hope you'll come and see me in the movies. Then I know that you will plainly see. The biggest fool who's ever hit the big time. And all I gotta do is act naturally. All I gotta do is act naturally. All I gotta do is act naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice wave flows.
That was beautiful.
We're happy to
That was.
Well, thank you.
Well, thanks everybody. That was another great show. That's it for tonight. Thanks for coming to Open Mic Night live at the ZoomBarDC. Thanks Bill and Dave and Megan and Joseph and Patrick and Gantt and Austin and Anna Rose and Steve and Tom and
thank you for hosting this
Yep,
and giving
thank
us a
you.
place to rehearse.
Marie-Louise.
Thank you, Marie-Louise.
A lot of folks tonight. It was great music. It was a great time.
Jam-packed.
Great seeing everyone. Thank you.
Love you all. See you next week.
Next week. Y'all too. See you next week.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Patrick, for coming. That was
Night.
really cool.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
good night. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, Marie. Think.